What's up? It's your boy Sterling coming to you with another video. Today's topic, we're going to talk about being in bad relationships and how did they get bad and what could have been done to prevent the relationships from getting bad. All right, so I think it's safe to say we've all been in a bad relationship one time or another in our life. Might currently still be in one now. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. And now, like I said, before I go any further in this video, what I'm saying doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you can apply it to your situations, or you may never even experienced any of these things that I'm talking about. But let's say, for instance, start from the beginning. You meet a person, male, female, whichever gender you are, and you start developing feelings for this person. Y'all constantly spend time, you're having a great time. You feel all warm and bubbly inside. All right. So at one point in time, or either it morphs into it, y'all decide we're going to be in a relationship. This is going to be solidified. Just me and you, Jack. That's it, right? So now you've established that you're in a relationship. All right, so let's say time goes by. I know the time limits are different for every individual and every, relationship. But let's just say time goes by, and you start seeing things, you know what I'm saying? You start hearing things that you're really not pleased with, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now, in the beginning stages of a relationship, either one or two things are going to happen. That person, that individual that you're deciding to embark on this relationship with, one or two things. They can, one, show you who they really are out of the gate. Or they can, two, put a mask on and totally deceive you and not show you who they are. They won't present red flags to you, so you have that opportunity to make a decision on if you want to be with this person or not. Right? So let's just say, for instance, you got into this relationship with that person that didn't show you the red flags. All right? They didn't show you the red flags. They didn't show you their bad habits. They didn't show you all the things that they would bring to the relationship later on down the road that you're not going to like. Okay? So when you start seeing these red flags, what do? Right? You have two choices. You can either stay or you can go. Simple as that. A lot of us choose to stay. I've done it myself. I regret it. I should have listened to my gut and said, this ain't for you. It's only going to get worse. This person's never going to change. But being the kind people that we are, or the kind person that I am, I'm going to get them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to hang in there, hopefully with being adults, talking, you know what I'm saying, trying to resolve conflict and all those other things, tools that people tell you to use in a relationship. If it's bad, you say, all right, I'm going to do that. And you try it, and it doesn't get anywhere, right? Now, you're developing bad blood as you go. You're starting to build resentments. All kind of negative things start happening. You start being stressed out. You're tired of seeing this person's face. It gets down to the point you can't stand their voice. But now, in a lot of situations, okay, especially if it's like, okay, you guys have moved in together, and y'all have a close quarter type of relationship, y'all are both under the same roof, things can get really bad. They can get really, really bad because one person might want to leave, but they can't afford it. The other person, you might want that person to leave, and they won't leave because they know they don't have to by law in most states. That's just like the reality of it. Okay, so now, in a sense, you're stuck with this person. You understand? You're stuck with this person. And now that's where the misery really comes in. Right? So let me tell you something. I know a guy right now, love him to death, all right, is on the outs of his relationship, okay? He's on the outs right now. Been with his significant other for years, like 20 plus years, okay? All right. Power couple is all I've seen, the whole entire time they've been together, right? So things took place in their relationship. Everything I'm not sure, but there are some things that I'm privy of, all right? One thing I do know that went wrong in that relationship is lack of communication, all right? There was a lack of communication. There was a lack of respect for one another in this relationship. There was a lack of communication, a lack of respect. There was no resolution or meeting in a middle ground or common ground for situations that they would occur, that they would run into throughout the duration of their relationship. So now all these things are compiling. Both ends, they're just growing, right? Now, at the same time, you could be with somebody for a long time and you can't help it. You grow to love this individual. You develop feelings. You start caring about these people. All of these things. So that's something that's taking place in their relationship. All right? So no respect, no communication, and now there's deceit being added into it, which I believe from day one, the relationship started out on a deceptive footnote, okay? I wasn't there, I can't say, but if I had to make an educated guess, I would say that, all right? Some people are just not meant to be together. Point blank. You can waste valuable years of your life with one individual trying, hoping that you can make things better. And it's never going to get better. You can keep hope alive all you want, but the reality of it is that 9 times out of 10, things are not going to change. They're going to remain the same. You understand? So, this guy and his significant other, they used to travel all the time. They used to, you didn't see him without her like this every time. Okay? Excuse me. So through the course of time, I started noticing it was no more of this. It started slowly breaking into this. You see what I'm saying? They started growing apart. All right? It broke my heart because they were a great couple. All right? They were a great couple. And to this day, they still remain under the same roof with each other. Each one of them is looking for an out right now. But see, now it's almost where it becomes disrespectful in certain aspects of that relationship. All right? Like, it's been time for them to have gone their separate ways. We're talking about infidelity. We're talking about attitudes for no reason. We're talking about selfishness. The list goes on of the problems that these two individuals have. Man, I love both of them to death. I love them both. All right? Very special people in my life. Very special, close people in my life. And it's like I feel so bad for my guy because, you know what I'm saying? It's like he admits the mistakes he made down the road, to get, to where they at now. But at the same time, that man has worked rigorously to become a better person. But at sometimes, just in, being for real about it, sometimes it's too late. You understand? And I think for his situation, it's too late. Okay? And now the person on the receiving end, now they're bitter. They have resentments. They go about things like they hate this individual. You know what I'm saying? But that person wasn't an angel either in the relationship. So it's a lot of finger pointing. You did this and you did that and you did this and that, and then it's just total chaos. And that breeds misery, right? And both of them are miserable right now. You understand? That's a bad situation to be in, and hopefully both of them can, get to where they need to be in life, and get away from each other and start a life, because they both deserve a good life. And then, at the same time, you have to take this into account too. Some people are not built for relationships. That doesn't mean they're a bad person, but some people are just not built to be in a relationship with another individual. Because you see, you have people, they want to play that house. They want to be in that together dwelling, that situation. But at the same time, on the other end, they want to just be able to do what they want to do, not be held accountable for anything. And when I hear those type of things, I just say that person is the type of person built for an open relationship. Straight up. That's what those people for. They're not ready for straight up and down monogamous commitment. You understand? And if there's an understanding, it's not for me, but if people that have that kind of mentality, if that person they're with and they get an understanding, it might be a thing that works possibly. Okay, all right. So let's talk about the cheating aspect of things, right? Why do people cheat in these relationships? Okay, because you also have options. Life is full of options. It's full of options. It's just which one. It's the choices that you make. Which one do you choose, right? So, like cheating. Why do people cheat? Several different reasons. Some people cheat because they're just natural cheaters. Some people cheat because they claim they're not happy in a relationship. Some people cheat because they're superficial. They like, for the men, oh, this woman had big titties and a big round ass, and she fine, and she driving this kind of car, and she works, this, and it's all superficial. Everything is superficial. But they have somebody at home that genuinely cares about them and loves them. And let me say this, that goes for male or female. I just said the male, but anyway, that could go both ways. All right? That superficialness. A lot of times people think the grass is greener on the other side. Most of the time it's not. You understand? Most of the time it's not. But the cheating, what do you do if you suspect that your mate is cheating on you? What do you do? Some people take the approach, if I don't see it, then it didn't happen. But a lot of times you're not stupid. You can see stuff and not see it. When people's routines start changing, you understand? When people start doing things different, they start talking different. You know what I'm saying? When I say talking different, I'm talking about like that level of respect. Their movements, everything can change. Some people can hide it better than others, but you will see subtle changes. You understand? And I feel like this is my take on it. If you're in a relationship with somebody that's cheating on you, and you pretty much know they're cheating on you, your best bet is to cut your losses and get on down. Period. That's your best bet, because that person's not going to stop. They're not going to change. If they're going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you, and there's basically nothing that can be done about it. And you're just going to subject yourself to more and more and more misery. You're going to be like that gerbil in the wheel. You're just going to be constantly running and not going nowhere. You understand? So relationships brutal at times. They hurt. Sometimes, everybody knows relationships are work. You have to put in the work. You can't just put yourself in a relationship and say, hey, everything is going to work itself out. You're living in a fairy tale if you believe that. That's bullshit. It does not work. You have to put in the work. You have to scrub. You have to put maintenance into this relationship. And sometimes it can be very uncomfortable. It can hurt. It can take a toll on you. But if you do it correctly, the end results can be beautiful. You can minimize the problems that you have in relationships. All right? Long distance relationships can be good or bad. All right? But at the same time, you have to have a really strong mind to conduct a long distance relationship and be serious about it. Because, some people say, okay, yeah, I'm in a long distance relationship, but they don't really fully aware what comes along with that, because you're not constantly there with your individual. They're not constantly with you. So, what do they say? Too much free time is the devil's playground. You know what I'm saying? If you're not there if you're not around your mate to be held accountable for things, they're not around you to be held accountable for things. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It could work. I'm not saying that it can't, but there are a lot of moving parts to that and factors that you can equate that things can happen in a long distance relationship. And then I think long distance relationships, you can get to know a person from a distance, but how well can you really get to know this person? You don't really get to know a person until you live under the same roof with them for a substantial amount of time. That's when you start seeing who that person really is. You understand? That's when you see what that person is really about, their habits, their movements, their idiosyncrasies, all types of things that you really get to see firsthand. You understand? When you're under the same roof with the individual. But if anybody's out there in a relationship and it's not going well for you, it's not going good for you, and you've been trying, and you've been fighting hard trying to make it work, and you're not getting any results, it's probably time to end it. You know what I'm saying? It comes a point that you could be in a bad relationship and you want it to work so bad that you start playing a fool. Now you start doing dumb shit that doesn't make any sense at all. And I know somebody, the individual I was talking about earlier, got to doing really dumb shit. He would tell me I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that. And I'm like, this nigga can't be serious right now. I mean, I'm floored. I cannot believe he's really saying these things to me. But I had to take a step back. I had to realize, you know what? I can't be too hard on him. I can't. Because I've been there. I've been in that bad relationship where I made, I think, too much of an effort to try to make it work when deep down in my soul, I knew it wasn't. And love will make you do strange things. It will make you do stupid shit sometimes. All right? We're all human beings. So, you have to take into account, if you know anybody that's going through a hard time, especially in their relationship, have patience with them. Understand. Be that person that they can lean on. Be that person, especially if you really care about that person. Be there for them. Because if you haven't experienced a bad relationship, they ain't no joke. They ain't no joke. All right? And you walk away feeling broken, you feel so exhausted, it might change your outlook on a whole lot of other things down the road. You understand what I'm saying? It could change you in a negative it could change you in a negative way. I mean, it really can, So if you are in a good relationship, try your best to keep it good. You know what I'm saying? Respect your partner, respect your mate, respect your husband, respect your wife. Just it's a level of respect that comes with everything. You know what I'm saying? And with respect, communication, understanding, you know what I'm saying? Rationality, communication is key. You need to be able to communicate with your significant other. You need communication is key, and respect. All right? And with those things there, you have trust. You know, because trust is a big issue. A lot of times, I'm gonna just speak from my experience from, you know, a different time in my life. You know, got into a relationship, really loved this person. They showed me red flags, and they showed me several red flags. But did I take heed to them? No, I didn't, because I really, really liked this individual, and I was that person, like I was talking about in the beginning, trying to keep hope alive. That was me. That was me. Saw several different red flags. And I didn't take heed to that. I didn't follow my first instinct. I didn't. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm being flat foot honest. I did not follow my gut instinct. And I started seeing things. They weren't as serious as I was in the relationship in the beginning. They were still communicating and chasing after, you know what I'm saying, individuals that they had entanglements with. They had, you know, intimate, like sexual relationships with, just to obtain something. They're chasing down this person. And then when I bring it to their attention, it's like, woe is me. I'm the one that's wrong. I'm crazy for not trusting you now. You know, a little bit of gaslighting sprinkled in this equation. You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's several different things that this individual, this woman, like, took me through. You know what I'm saying? And I, that whole time, never did anything, nothing to break their trust. All right? Never communicated with any other women. Always coming home on time. Always there. Always reachable. Nothing, there was nothing that I wouldn't do for this individual. Protected her. You know what I'm saying? Provided for. You know, just being the best person for her that I could be. I gave her the best of me. You understand? And that wasn't even good enough. Nope, believe it or not, it wasn't good enough. You got faithfulness, loyalty, protection, you know, providing. You have all these things. And you want to hear the crazy part about it? Is that with me bringing all these things to the table, they would break their neck to try to find something wrong with me. Something to complain about. It seemed like it was never, ever good enough. I started running out of ideas. Like, what more possibly can I give this individual? And I'm not talking about finance. I'm talking about emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a good person. What more can I do? What more can I offer this individual? What more does she want from me? You remember, like Tyrese said, what more do you want from me? You remember that? That was how I was feeling. You understand? And a lot of people laughed at that clip, but I never found it funny because I know how that brother was feeling. I might not been in the same exact situation he was in, but when you give your all and it's not taken, you know, seriously, or it's not, you know, appreciated, and you know, it does something to you. You understand? It does something to you. So I'm going to end this video, but listen, if y'all in a relationship, try to make it work. If you know you're in a bad relationship, cut your losses, go on about your business. Life is too short. Life is entirely too short. If you like the things that I said in this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you can relate to anything that I've talked about in this video, please leave a comment down below. Until next time, it's your boy Sterling, and at this time, I'm saying peace.